GNCC Racing finds itself in the shadows of Morgantown, West Virginia, smack dab on the state line for round 8 in the 2020 edition of the High Voltage. It's hot and dusty, but just another day at the office for 7-time champ Caleb Russell. But there's a new kid on the XC1 block, and the last time he threw his leg over his motorcycle, he won the final round of the Monster Energy Supercross out in Utah. Zach Osborne returns to the woods, and he's ready to shake things up. He has the speed and the skill, but how will he handle GNCC's notorious third hour? And don't forget about Grant Baylor. He's angry and hungry to climb to the top of the box. They all join Josh Strang, Ben Kelly, and the rest of the Red Plates for an electric Sunday ride through the woods. Can Osborne crack the top 5, maybe even podium, or will the woods be too much? Summertime, GNCC Racing, and the answer to all those questions are next, live on RacerTV.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Hello and welcome to GNCC Live on RacerTV.com. I'm Rodney Tom along with Mikey Waynes here at the Lilly Family Farm, what I like to call the Lily Pad, for round number 8 of America's premier off-road racing championship in the world-renowned GNCC Series presented by Specialized and AMA National Championship. And Mikey, as we get set to roll here for our second coming at the Lily Pad, in the shadows of the home offices of GNCC Racing, of course, out of Morgantown, West Virginia. We're right on the West Virginia-Pennsylvania border in Matesville, West Virginia. The stage is set for another great and classic GNCC battle today.
That's absolutely right, Rodney. We're heading into summer break. Folks, don't think about that just yet. We got some more racing action for you here today, and this, the final full season in the XC1 for Caleb Russell. He has put on a heck of a performance all season long, winning all but one race, straying with that win there a couple rounds back. And, of course, some big names visiting us here in the GNCC this weekend as well.
No doubt about that, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But one thing that I do want to point out is the fact that even though Caleb has won all but one round, the one thing that we have seen is these riders have noticed some chinks in the armor. Caleb has been challenged a little bit more, it seems like, this season than what we kind of expected, especially with the absence of Thad Duvall and the absence of Trevor Bollinger and Ben Kelly and Josh Toth and those guys out for so long in the season. We weren't expecting maybe quite the challenges that Caleb Russell has seen. Man, the challenges, they have been a-coming, there's no doubt about it.
That's exactly right, Rodney. We have seen a resurgence in the career of Josh Strang. If you hear a lot of people, the grumblings of, well, Thad Duvall's not out there, Bollinger's not out there. I think even if those guys were racing right now, we would be seeing this exact same kind of performance out of Strang. What I think has helped Caleb Russell this season is that high race IQ that he has. You get to that 2-hour mark, and then he turns it on. He starts riding smarter. Every line is methodically picked. He's just got her dialed in.
He does, and you know, he's a multi-time champion, looking for, I believe, championship number 8 this season. And with that, you know, I mean, he knows how to win, and even under the tough circumstances, you know, like you said, the high race IQ, race savvy really puts it into that. The XC2 class, the championship points race is kind of tight in that one. I don't think people realize what we're seeing happen there. I know that there's been a lot of focus on Craig DeLong and some of the extraordinary finishes and things that he's had so far this season. Kind of getting, and he always seems to get kind of shuffled to the backside of things, is Mike Witkowski. Now, Mike's only got a couple of wins so far this season, but his consistency has him within 8 points of the championship, and we know on any given day he's capable of taking a win.
That's exactly right. It always, I think a lot of people think it comes as a surprise if Mike Witkowski wins. It may surprise you guys, but it doesn't surprise folks that know Mike Witkowski and the work that he is putting in on the Yamaha ride this season. Kind of flying under radar, but certainly putting together a heck of a season.
And before we talk about the visitors that we have on tap this weekend, that FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am class, this has been one that, you know, I think a lot of people when the season started was kind of like, okay, that's a Jason Raines class. You know, he's the old veteran in that one. He's going to be the one to beat in it. But Zach Hayes comes out with 2 phenomenal wins to open up the season. Jason Raines falls a little by the wayside. He does have 3 wins. Zach has, I believe, 4 total wins this season so far and has only, I think, maybe a 15 or so point lead, maybe a little less than that over Jason Raines. But Jake Froman's another rider, even though he doesn't have wins, is another rider that we've been keeping an eye on, and Nathan Federer. So that 125 XE3 125 Pro-Am class has certainly been a one to watch. It's been a little different because of the type of bike and the type of racing. But, man, whenever you hear those guys out on the track, it's a lot of joy. It's fun to watch them start off the line. And I just think that the experience that these guys are getting, ringing these things out through the woods is just it's unprecedented right now. It's certainly a good stepping stone into the XC2. Now, back to the big news this weekend. We've got visitors coming from all over. We've got a couple of riders from the West Coast, talking about our good friends out there, and of course Sherco bringing a couple of riders here with us this weekend. JT Baker will be running the XC2 class. He races over in the works. Also in the WXC class, I believe we've got Brittany Marcotte. She's a West Coast woman with motocross background. She delivers, or should I say, she also drives a monster truck. Yes. In the Monster Jam Series. She's been a stunt rider for Marvel Universe Live Show as well. So she's bringing a lot of credit with her to the WXC class. We've got Phoenix Racing Honda's Kyle Peters. He'll be racing the XC2 class. He recently finished up in the 2020 AMA Supercross 250E schedule. He was 8th in the point standing, so that's a pretty good standing for him. Dante Oliveira is back with us, and Matt Oliveira will be back with us also from out west in the Work Series. And I think the big news that everybody is so pumped up about this weekend is the return. Yes, you hear me right. That's right. The return of Zach Osborne back to GNCC Racing. Now, though Zach has not been a faithful GNCC racer racing on consistent terms, he did race some off-road back, I think, around 14 or so. Correct. He's back with the Rockstar Energy team, and wow, I mean, that's big news. It's huge, Rodney. It's one of those things that I think took over the racing industry, at least the dirt bike racing industry, on social media this week. And it was interesting to see people's perspective. I've got folks telling me, oh, he's finishing first. He's going to take it to Caleb Russell. I've got people saying he's going to DNF. There's no way he lasts 3 hours. We know this. He's good on a dirt bike. Can he last the 3 hours? He's done it before, but it's been a few years. It's going to be real interesting to see how he does today. Well, most recently, he earned his first 450 Supercross victory at the 2020 AMA Supercross finale. So congratulations to him on that, and being a part of the International 6-Day, I think, back in 14 as well. So good to have him over in the off-road side of things. The big question is why? Why? Because motocross is on an extended break, and I think that Zach just wants to ride his motorcycle, if you want to know the truth. I think that's exactly it. That's the other side of it, too, is what is his team telling him? Is it, hey, go out, have some fun, race the GNCC, see how you feel? Or are they saying, no, go out there, go race it, push it, go get as high on that overall as you can. Yeah, I guess we'll find out in a little over 3 hours. That's right. What it's all going to boil down to. But right now, Mikey, let's check in with Jared Bolton, who's got a bird's eye view of what this track's looking like.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to the High Voltage GNCC. A little bit unplanned to be coming back here this year, but we're back. We've changed a lot this year, made it a little bit different. We took out a couple of the fast field sections. We put in more woods. What's that mean? It means we've slowed it down a lot. The wood sections we are using, they're tighter, they're twistier, they're a little slower than they were last year. It's going to be hard to pass for the ATV guys, and be fairly easy to pass for the bike guys. We're also throwing in some bike-only sections, going to tighten things up, make it a little bit slower on Sunday as well. The key here will be to pass out here in these open fields, but guess what? It's super dry. There is a chance of a little bit of rain this weekend, but as of right now, it's super dry. Could be dusty out in these fields, make it hard to pass. This could be one of those races. The start will be key. You're going to want to get out front. You're going to want to lead for the first lap. Put dust between you and the guys behind you. Get out front, get that lead. That's going to make or break your race. That's this weekend's Yamaha track description. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Jared. The flow, the old school feel about this place, the lily pad, it is, the stage is set, Mikey, and we're about ready to go GNCC racing. That's right, Rodney. We'll get a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, you'll have Rodney Tomlin down in the starting line with that iconic 10-second call.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records. It becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, there you have it, folks. The stage is set and GNCC racing set to resume here in the mountains of West Virginia, and of course also right here in the southern part of Pennsylvania. As we welcome you once again along RacerTV.com and GNCC Live to the Lilly Family Farm for this 7th or 8th round of Grand National Cross Country Championship, as it's time to meet our starting lineup. Going to the line today in accordance to their championship point standings after 7 rounds of racing complete. And rolling to the line first today, he rides aboard the number 1 in his farewell tour in the GNCC Racing Nation, and he goes for championship number 8 and win number 67 today from Boonville, North Carolina on an FMF factory KTM, Caleb Russell. Rolling to the line second today, aboard the number 114, a Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Team Green Kawasaki from Australia, former GNCC champion Josh Strang. His teammate, third in points, aboard the number 127, hailing from Livingston, Tennessee, on a Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Kawasaki, Jordan Ashburn. Rolling to the line today, fourth in points, he rides aboard the number 314 from Honey Path, South Carolina, on the Factory One Sherco, the Grizzly, Grant Whaler. Rolling to the line today, he is sixth in points aboard the number 206 from Winstead, Connecticut, on an FMF Factory Racing KTM, Josh Toth. Riding aboard the number 530 from Harwington, Connecticut, also on an FMF Factory KTM, Ben Kelly. Riding aboard the number 410 from Birdsboro, Pennsylvania, on a Phoenix Racing Honda, Andrew DeLong.
from Claremont, Florida, a Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing Husky, Zach Osborne. Riding aboard the 121 from Logan, Ohio on a Husqvarna FXR Thornhill Automotive backed ride, Corey Buttrick. Riding aboard the number 27 from Blacksburg, South Carolina on a Rock Hill Power Sports TI Designs GFO Plastics Kawasaki, Evan Earl. The number 431 from Hollister, California on an FMF Maxxis RPM KTM, Dante Oliveira. Rolling to the line aboard the number 459 from Sparta, Tennessee on a Clover Hill AGMX KTM from the world of motocross and supercross, Justin Ashburn. And the 788 from Freedom, Pennsylvania on a Most Sites Motorsports, Blood Lubricants, Podium Works, Henson back Kawasaki, Josh Heinz. And ladies and gentlemen, that your starting lineup for this, the High Voltage GNCC, our 8th round, the final stop before the summer break here in the 2020 season. And friends, we are so blessed and pleased to be at this particular moment and juncture in our GNCC championship schedule. And I know a lot of folks are getting amped up for this one today. And it's going to be a couple of months before we'll be back out here, whether it be crew member and family member, whether it be race fan or racer. It's going to be a while before we get to see these open arms like this again sometime before September. So everyone wants to leave their mark, that explanation point, if you will, for folks to think about in the upcoming 8 to 10 weeks that these folks are going to have off. And of course, here in the closing moments, we look to the first turn. We see that Ricky Towery already signaled to these riders to warm them up. Now, it's not signaled just yet the 1 minute mark, and that means that we are still just a ways away, but he steps out into the middle of the first turn. The podium for our orchestrator of starts, Ricky Tower, as he lets these riders know we have 1 minute before the start of this High Voltage GNCC. And now, folks, this is the time that our riders are starting to get nervous. Well over 200 riders, 250 riders on this starting line here today, ready to tackle these hills and mountains, these rocks, these valleys of this Lilly family farm located directly on the Mason-Dixon line. As we turn our attention to Ricky Towery, he waves the blue flag. Shut him down, guys, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. We are now less than 30 seconds away from going racing here at the Lilly family farm. And I got to ask you, crew members and family members, are you ready to go GNCC racing? It sounds like you're ready, but I think you're more ready than that. So we're going to try this one more time. Are you ready to go High Voltage GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at the High Voltage GNCC. Around that first turn, here they come. 3 KTMs wide, and it's the 206 of Josh Scherf. Grabbing the early lead in this one. Toth out front. Can he maintain the lead as we get to the XC2 250 Pro class? Ryder Lafferty, Simon Johnson, Sam Evans, Tyler Soriano, Kyle Peters, Liam Draper, Mike Witkowski, Ben Parsons, Jesse Ansley, Craig DeLong, William Riordan, Agnes Riordan, also Anson Maloney, Benjamin Elko, Mateo Oliveira, Preston Campbell, also looking at JT Baker, Ryder LeBlanc, Thorne Devlin, Tanner Myers, Jonathan Garrard, Jonathan Johnson, and Cody Barnes in 10 seconds. And they're off through that first turn, blazing through the heat and the dust. It's the 328. Devlin, right there beside him, not going to get the whole shot. Jesse Ansley from Mayaca City, Florida, KTM Trail Dancers ride, will get the nod as far as the whole shot, but did not get the early lead. Go to the FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am class. Jason Raines, Mike DeLosa, Jeremy Lolleman, Nathan Ferderer, Jason Lipscomb, Zach Hayes, and Jake Froman in 10 seconds. Mike DeRosa's got a good jump off the line there to the inside. Let's see where it's going to put him across the stripe. Nope, it's going to be the 100 of Jason Raines taking the early lead in this one out of Belfair, Washington, on the Range Riding University back ride. The Open A class coming up next. So turn our attention to Ricky Towery, Cook Beckert, Brady Myers, Tyler Braniff, Alex Luger, Chase Hayes, Nathan Rector, Dylan Dela Cruz. 10 seconds. Jake Demarius, Jason Smalley, Michael McLean, Brandon Krause, Billy Kibler, Justin Leonard, Dylan Gore, Robbie Early, Jacob Barnes, Peyton Harden, Evan Schultz, and Ryan Quinn. Through the haze and dust, row number 4 makes their way into the second turn. It is the number 355. That, my friends, is Jake Desmarius out of Bristol, Connecticut, on a Biker's Edge Ethnic Clothing Company backed machine. As we go next to the 250A class, Johnny Madera, Tristan Landrum, Zachary Davidson, Austin Zink, Bub Tasha, Brody Johnson, Matthew Davis, Gavin Smith, Bolton Baroth, Brendan Poling. 10 seconds. Anthony Ferrante, Josh Farrell, Dakota DeVore, Jeremy Walburn, Jonathan McDougald, Andrew Gross, Neil Inman, and James Skinner. Jeremy Wallstrom. Sorry about that, Jeremy, as we round that first one. Oh, a couple guys going down, but it's the 224. Bubs Tasha from North Falmouth, Massachusetts, on a Loud Fuel Company factory connection Hutch Motorsports backed machine. Down to the 4-stroke A lights class, row number 6, set and ready to roll in 10 seconds. Cole Whitmer, Alexander Patterson, Grady Faint, Tyler Palmer, Russell Smith, Travis Renaud, Mitchell Owenby, Johnny Fleming, Justin Lafferty, Adam Parker, Nicholas Haynes, Jake Ross, Cannon Knuff, Sam Hall, Joe Cunningham, Cody Meeks, Hayden Dillon, Nathan Davis, Dylan Cariano, and Jace Knopp. Oh, one rider goes down, but up front it's the 324 of Travis Renaud from Stratford, Missouri, on a Yarborough Industries Marionville Power Sports Fly Racing packed machine. 150A. This is Max Fernandez, Max Rust, Alex Metz, Eli Childers, Tanner Collins, Braden Dolette, Ian Potter, Dylan Hicks, and Blake Yaharis in 10 seconds. Wow. 2 strokes out in this 158 class today. Mercy. 565, Dylan Hicks from Westchester, Pennsylvania, Fly Racing, JDP Suspension, and Ride On Moto grabbing the early lead in this one as we get to the Junior AB 25 plus class. 10 seconds. Matt Bruffy, Trenton Threadgrawl, Grant Marriott, Austin Franklin, Zach Nash, David Muchisco, Taylor Myers, Jesse Kildo, Cody Jeffers, Andrew Boggs, and Zachary Ferentz. Junior AB 25 plus class, rounding the first turn. The dust not even settling from row 1. It's the 527 out front of David Muchisco III out of New Salem, Pennsylvania. As we go next, the Vet A 30 plus class, set and ready to roll in 10 seconds. Joe Marsh, Louis Oleon, Joshua Wyatt, Brandon Duvall, Surly Amancio, Nathan Alwing, David Haftel, Cameron Ware, Joseph McCarty, Reed Brown, Morgan Green, Ed Scott, Kyle Dangler, James Bauer, Buddy Barnes, Robbie Norwood, Tom Truxell, Matt Modick, Sammy Doris, and Bill Zavendi. 5:49, Kyle Dangler from FMF, riding with KTM and Fly here this weekend out of Weatherford, Texas. Taking the early lead. Senior A 40 plus class. 10 seconds. Shotguns, Sean Remington, Smiling, Frank Messina, Frank Tussle, Vinny Tomic, Todd Thompson, Joe Potter, Bob Bergman, Steve Lambruno, Larry Sylvia, Joel Stoles, and Darren Darmos. Around the first turn, they sort it out. And yes, Shotgun Sean Remington on the Coastal Racing Machine grabs the early lead and the whole shot as he leads him into the woods in turn 3 now. 4-stroke B lights class coming up next. Ricky Towery lets them know it's about time to go. Let that dust settle, huh? Try to wave it away.
Looks like we got Jesse Groves, Austin Hovetter, Trevor Gold, Miles Gefkin, Brian Brew, Aiden Bethel, Blaiston Moore. Also Colin Gearing, Kobe Dunham, Drew Calloway, Hayden Schultz, Cody Reese, and TJ Fine. 10 seconds. And they're off. Long drive up to that first turn now for these 4-stroke B lights class. The start gets longer and longer with each start. Oh, and we're going to see the 460. Drew Calloway from Denver, North Carolina, Amica Metals, Mobius, and Motor X backed right, grabbing the early lead in this one. As we go to the 250B light class, is Warren Friend, Cole Henderson, Aaron Aram Moffitt, Noah Martz, David Hand, Dylan Kamoski, Andrew Johnson, Ryan Richards, John McGee, Ezra Prine, also Ryan Tucker, Zachary Johnson, Michael Muvik, Joshua Connor, Nicholas Karch, also Joshua Gannon, Jonathan Settler, Ethan Dingle, Cameron Madison, Parker Todd, Case Armitage, and Andrew Ehrman in 10 seconds. All right, that's Andrew Ehrman, not Ehrman. Sorry about that. And it's a 107. But don't have that on my sheets, so not sure who got that one. Didn't have his sticker on his helmet. 150B class coming up next. Brendan Rice, Ian Weisman, Peyton Gwynn, Toby Cleveland, Christopher Eddy, Joshua Kluchek, Nathan Delaney, Taryn Seitinger, also Anthony Blackburn, Blake Kohler, Aaron Hees, Cooper Jones, Julian Wojcik, and Lucas Grounds. 10 seconds. I see you over there, Big John. 3:21. That's Peyton Gwynn from Parkersburg, West Virginia. And Gwynn on a Dunlop FXR Flow Vision and Crash Addicts back drive, taking the early lead in this one. Good jump off the line, carried it all the way through turn 3. Was to go to the Vet B30 Plus class. Larry Hopper, Cody Hosta, Adam Odell, Daniel Parlier, Ian Smith, Nick Plank, Billy West, Scott Hopper, Jeremiah Taylor, also CJ Seitinger, Tyler Click, Ernest Martin, Wayne Skidmore, Brent Ruhlman, Joshua Webb, Kurt Taylor, and Jimmy Johnson in 10 seconds. That be 30-plus class. Round turn now. 364. Ian Smith from Edina, Ohio, taking the early lead in this one as we go to the open B class. Matt Sorge, Tyler Patterson, Jordan Hubersti, Aaron Judson, Nathan Dickey, Tyler Wibberly, Brandon Geary, Gregory Tenney, also Dylan Fleming, Matthew Harris, Jacob Maynard, Andrew Hutchins, Dawson Case Nixon, Chris Wolf, Colton Hawk, and Jamison Hardy. 10 seconds. It looks like we got a Niola rider. Got a 4-digit number on his bike out front, but nope, it's going to be 408. Tyler Wibberly, Fairfax, California, on the Roseville Sports Mojo Motorsports Auburn Ale House backed machine. And last and certainly not least, the Senior B 40-plus class, Gene Swidwa, Leon Whitaker, Michael Ashley, Brett Belsel, Robert Bates, Brent Maynard, Jeffrey Heinfley, Shannon Hadfield, Michael Horwath, and Josh Nickel in 10 seconds. And there goes our final row off into the first turn regionals. They try to get her all sorted out here. Jared Poulton will fall in behind as he begins the sweep lap number 1
It is the 445 of Jeff Hively from Belfry, Ohio, taking the early lead in this one. And there you go, folks. The stage is set. GNCC well underway here in this final round before the summer break. And, of course, Caleb Russell looking for win number 67. Good start for the young man today. Will he be able to make it work for him? Stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues right after this.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records, it becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
It's hard to put our adventures on hold, but now is the perfect time to prepare for their return. AMSOIL has your back with fast, free shipping, and ordering has never been easier. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $50 on AMSOIL products and shipping is on us. Order now at AMSOIL.com.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
The Yamaha GNCC University returns, calling all ATV and motorcycle off-road racers. Are you looking to hone your riding and racing skills? Want to learn hands-on with the best past and current GNCC racers and champions? Then sign up for the 2020 Yamaha GNCC University, returning to Snowshoe Mountain Resort September 23rd through the 25th. We're bringing together Yamaha's ATV and motorcycle racing elites to instruct in-depth courses on fundamentals of racing and riding. During the Yamaha GNCC University, students will participate in lectures about sportsmanship, training, proper nutrition, and mental preparation, along with hands-on skills and drills designed to improve your riding and confidence in a variety of terrain and situations. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis with limited openings, evenly split between the disciplines. For more details and to register, call Snowshoe Mountain Resort at 877-441-4386. We look forward to seeing you at the top of Snowshoe Mountain, then on top of the podium.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride. We are American Motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track. And we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer. We win and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lead, the director of On Track School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that. Because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
Live coverage of the 2020 GNCC series on RacerTV.com is brought to you by MMI. Get there faster, smarter. Specialized turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. I'm Mikey Waynes. You've already heard from my colleague, Rodney Tomlin, down on the starting line with those iconic 10-second calls. And joining the booth with our junior announcer, the Fast Brats announcer himself, Mr. Ryan Amancio. No Johnny Gallagher today. He's heading off to Utah, but I got to believe Johnny's going to be tuning in and listening to us this afternoon. This is the High Voltage GNCC. Hand me that right there. Round number 8, the Lilly Family Farm, the lily pad, if you will. And if you guys saw the race starts, I believe we're going to take a quick look at those start replays. I know a lot of folks hadn't quite tuned in yet, so we'll give you the rundown on that for the XC1, 2, and 3. This is the specialized rapid replay for the XC1. Well, coming into today, round number 8 of the GNCC Race Series, everybody's asking, where is Zach Osborne going to finish? A whole slew of orange bikes up front saying not so fast, and how about the start for Josh Toth? And I believe last time we checked, still in the lead, and Dante Oliveira in the number 2 spot there, and Caleb Russell, I believe, 3rd, and Ben Kelly 4th. Is that right, Ryan? Is that what you saw?
Yeah, and Josh Toth has quite a big of a lead right now. So.
He does. We'll get to that in just a second. Here we go, the start for the XC2. There's a pretty good battle early on in this one, just edging out. Thornton Devlin has had some great starts this season, but today, Jesse Ansley going to get out in front of him here. Jesse Ansley finally getting her dialed in the XC2 class. Had some major success in the FMF XC3 in the last couple of seasons, and hasn't been able to quite put together a complete race. Maybe he can do that today in the XC2 class. And speaking of XC3, the 125s, no sound quite like it in the world. Bunch of young riders out there and an old wily veteran, we call him, the number 100 Yamaha ride of Jason Raines coming through the cloud of dust right there out in front. Can't miss Jason Raines. Pulls those sleeves up 3/4 length. The blue bike out in front in this one. Raines looking for a little redemption. I don't believe he was a podium finish at the last race, or if he was, I believe maybe 3rd. At best. Josh Toth on screen there, picture in picture. doing his thing. Ryan, what do you make of this, man? You had a chance to go out there and race the track this morning. What can these guys expect out of this track? Obviously, folks at home see all the dust. I mean, it is no doubt about it. It's going to be hot. It's getting hotter, and it's dusty, man. What did you see in the youth race this morning?
So when I was racing, one thing for sure is the sand. You don't want to hit any berms because your bike just sinks in. But it's really, really dusty, and lappers are going to be one big problem here. So the heat's probably going to get them a bit impatient, and they just have to keep their cool and ride on, you know?
And ride on. That's exactly right. Ben Kelly right there on screen. That was Caleb Russell right in front of him. Again, the big question coming into today, where's Zach Osborne going to end up when it's all said and done? Well, if you saw the start, if you were looking there, he was actually last off the start. Now, GNCCs, I know a lot of folks out there, maybe this is the first time you've tuned into RacerTV, and you're thinking, oh, no, bad start. This is not good for Zach Osborne. And you are right. That's not the start you want. There's no doubt about that. But it is a 3-hour race. It is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So he's got plenty of time to find his groove out there and see if he can move up the pack. Right now, more of our XC1 riders, Andrew DeLong
having some problems.
He got into that soft stuff like you were talking about on the edge here. It's just kind of pulls you right in, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And another thing, too, is roots. Roots, for me, were quite a big problem. They're basically everywhere since the quads kind of just destroy the track and, like, just let the bikes do what they do. But the track is... Oh, is that the lead for XC2?
I think so. The 558 machine.
There's Zach Osborne on screen.
Zach Osborne. So there you go. So now some of our XC2 guys getting up into the...
Johnny Gerard
in second. That's great for him. He's coming off a podium finish. We actually, when Rodney and I were talking about the race today, so one lap completed for Josh Toth as he comes through the finish line right there. 23:35. What, 23:35? Your eyes are better than mine.
Oh, yeah.
23:25. Yeah, so that's a lap time for Toth. We'll get the clock on it here and see just how far back. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Second place ride has still not checked in yet.
Look at
and there
this.
goes Toth.
Toth is on a heck of a ride right now.
I think Josh Toth must have been listening to myself and Rodney in the pre-race. We talked about Caleb. We talked about Strang. We talked about Ben Kelly. We talked about Zach Osborne. And Toth says, hang on, boys. I am here too. Doggone it. I want a piece of this.
You know, I'm kind of surprised right now. I'm going to be honest with you that Dante is not maybe a little further up right now because this being those hot, dry, dusty conditions. I kind of expect those Western riders, the Works riders, to do very well today here in, on the state line of Pennsylvania and West Virginia in the mountains. Even though it's mountainous, the conditions are prime and ultimate for those types of riders right now.
That's exactly it. Rodney, it's interesting to me. Of course, so much talk about Zach Osborne racing today, and obviously Rockstar Husky getting a lot of recognition, and rightfully so.
Right.
But it almost looks to me as if Auntie at the KTM pits had a talk with the guys and said, "I want to see all orange up front today." And
well, when they came out around when they came around the first turn, and I mean, it's not this. There's second place finally making his way in, but I just wanted to point this out. When they came around that first turn, they were 3 wide, all orange bikes. You see it sometimes, but that today really stood out.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You got your top 5 riders, all KTM. Josh Toth up front, Dante Oliveira up front. Big question, I think, for him is, can he also keep this pace up?
I believe so. Again, he comes from out west, and they're used to hot, dry conditions. This track has some speed to it, so that might work in his favor as well.
Toth looking comfortable on the bike.
Toth is looking comfortable out there. Caleb Russell back in the number 3 spot right now. This is one of the things, Rodney, we talked about a little bit prior to the show, was that race IQ of Caleb Russell, and maybe that's what we're seeing right now. He knows everybody's a little extra hyped up this weekend.
Well, and
I'm going to lay back and chip away as the race goes on.
No doubt. And as we took a look at that, I mean, you saw how hard Josh Toth is pushing. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have the speed, he doesn't have the talent and the endurance to do that kind of stuff. But it's early in the race. It's hot. He's pushing very, very hard in the early part of this race. The one saving grace for him at the end of the race is going to be that he's getting a pretty good gap up and over the rest of the field. Oliveira back in the number 2 spot. Was that Russell that checked in there behind him in 3rd?
Yes, Russell was in 3rd, and then the 530 of Ben Kelly in that number 4 spot. And how about this, Rodney, out of the XC2 250 Pro-Am class on adjusted time, Ben Nelko, the 407 Husqvarna out front.
He's the motocrosser from Pennsylvania.
Well, he's doing very well.
I know that he says, man, just give me a little time. He says, I get a good start. Things are going to go very, very well. We see Toth out front, Oliveira in the number 2 spot, Russell, Ben Kelly, Josh Strang, as we pointed out, and Ashburn's right behind him, Grant Baylor. You know, Grant was late getting to the starting line. He missed his call whenever we announced his lane and we announced his name. And I was wondering, was he going to actually race today? And he came in just at the last moment there to find his place on the starting line. So good to see that he's made it out there. A traditional 7th, 8th place start for him today. So he's going to have his work cut out for him. And looking at the gap that the leaders are already starting to amass right now, it's going to be tough for anybody to make up time today.
That's exactly right. Johnny Gerard, this was something, Ryan, you talked about even before the race started, was you know who stands out in my mind, I think would do well if he got a good start, is Johnny Gerard. Well, he's 2nd in the class right now.
And there he is on
7th for time. It's almost like we planned it.
Oh, yeah.
7th in the overall right now. So Johnny Gerard, this I think is the start he's been looking for.
John Gerard's having his work cut out because usually starts up there, has to eat a lot of dust if he started in the back. So this is what he needed, and now all he has to do is maintain it and try to get away from Craig that just went by screen.
Yeah, Craig, points leader. You saw that reverse number plate. He had the white background with the green number. Craig, the long point leader in the XC2 250 Pro Lights class there. And he's got some distance between himself and the front of the pack right now, too. Craig, though, not real far out. That's well within the realm of being able to close that gap and get him back into that position, or in a lead position. But Jonathan Gerard is certainly going to be one that's going to be tough to get around, even for Craig DeLong. As we check in here at the FMF PowerPoint, again, it's Josh Toth leading Dante Oliveira, Caleb Russell in the number 3 spot with Kelly and Strang rounding out the top 5. Russell still going for win number 67, but will the West Coast boys have his number today? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records, it becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
And welcome back to GNCC Live on RacerTV.com. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes and, of course, Ryan Amancio, our junior announcer, here with us as we are live from the High Voltage GNCC in Maysville, West Virginia on the Pennsylvania-West Virginia state line, where the 206 of Josh Toth grabbed the early lead, the whole shot, and has literally checked out from the rest of the field coming into this weekend. We did have a chance to catch up with the New England Ripper.
Yeah, I'm definitely still rebuilding, still moving forward. Last round was difficult. Had a bad crash on the lap 1 and got tangled up in a fence, and yeah, just lost a bunch of time early in the race. And I rode pretty good, but results definitely don't show that. But yeah, definitely still keeping a positive mindset and just know that it'll come and getting better and better and more fit every race. So yeah, I'm hoping to get a good result in before we go on break here at GNCC and build some confidence. But I don't have much of a break. I'll be back going National Enduro Racing, so hopefully stay sharp and come back to getting on the podium when we get back.
Well, I think he's probably going to be pretty pleased with the performance that he's got going on here today, at least for the moment. And even if things were to maybe go awry for him, he still has a lot to build on today, especially with the pace that he has set here at the Lilly Family Farm for this high voltage GNCC. It's electric. It's in the air, and Josh Toth is bringing it right now.
That's exactly right, Rodney. It's almost like that. This is our last round of racing before we go into our summer break, and we come back out for just 5 more rounds. And I think Toth is one of those guys that enters this last round before summer break and says, "Okay, I have had a season of ups and downs. I got to carry some momentum into summer break and come out swinging when we get back."
Well, you know, it's basically what I said prior to the start. I was doing some talking, and I talked about the explanation point that folks want to leave out of here with. You know, no matter what the first half of the season has been like for these riders, as we head into the second half, if they can leave here heading into the second half with positive notes to build upon, they've got 7 more rounds or 6 more rounds after this race to actually get things sorted out and make things happen the way that they want them to. Or maybe 5 rounds, I guess. After
correct.
5, down to 5. Wow, that's crazy that we've got that many already.
It is. There was a point in this year where we thought, oh no, we're only going to get 3 rounds of racing. That's going to be it for 2020. But boy, we are grateful to be back out at the GNCCs.
Amen on that. And remarkably, you know, here at the Lilly Family Farm, this was a makeup date from rain dates last year, and this was one of those net facilities that we had as a makeup facility just in case something happened again this year. We were originally scheduled to be in Indiana, but due to the current circumstances and situation, we had to move things back over here, and the Lilly Family Farm was here with open arms and ready and awaiting. And I'll tell you, a lot of great faithful here, crew members and family members from a long time ago making their way out for GNCC today.
It's nice. I think the only one that was mad we came back here was me. Because if we raced in Indiana, I got to sleep in my own bed, and I was 5 minutes from the track. Well, I'm 20 minutes from the track here from the hotel. That's all right, though. I'll take it.
There is Josh Toth as he opens up even more of a lead here at the 5-mile marker. This is lap number 2 we're working on here at the High Voltage GNCC out of Connecticut on a Trail Gestures KTM, but also with a lot of factory support. I know he has a lot of guidance and support out of that team. He works with Charlie, he works with Big Kelly, he works with Caleb Russell under the guidance and direction of Auntie Cullinan, obviously. So these guys have got things tight, no doubt about it, as far as that ship is run. Look at this. I said stretch that lead out even more.
Unreal.
Even the desert guys having a tough time keeping up with the New England.
Caleb up in at second.
Yep, Caleb Russell making the pass. At some point, did you see, had he already done that, or is this something new?
No, he's been in third for most of the race, so he just made the pass.
Yes. I think that it may be Oliveira right behind him. Did see a puff of dust. We'll see who's in the number 3 spot, sure enough.
Dante Oliveira, he is riding really well. You usually don't see him ahead at all, really, in the beginning of the races, but it's pretty good for him so far.
Ben Kelly back in that number 4 spot. Josh Strang not far off pace physically with him. Again, Ben Nelko from the XC250 Pro class on time adjustment was slated in the number 5 position at the end of lap number 1. Jonathan Garrar was 7th overall, second in the XC250 Pro class. There's Grant Baylor making his way by now on the 3:14. Kind of tough to see the Factory One Sherco machine, but there he is. He is currently 7th in class and 9th place overall. There is Andrew DeLong checking in. It looks like Andrew has gotten around Corey Buttrick now for that number 8 position in class. Buttrick. So Buttrick falling by the wayside. Andrew DeLong. I jokingly told Andrew DeLong, I said, Andrew, I want to get you on the 10 Seconds XD Off-Road Cast. Go out and have a good race today. We need something to talk about.
Johnny Gerard has entered the lead, I think. Yeah, he has entered the lead. Look at John. He's running comfortable on that bike.
Yeah, that's the XC2 leader now. He's gotten around Nelco. There is Nelco, the 558 machine we see right there in contention with things. I believe his GNCC number is actually 407. But regardless, and there is the 942 of Craig DeLong. So DeLong is closing up that gap there in the front of this pack as well. So things are starting to tighten up, it looks like, guys, in this XC2 250 Pro class.
Oh, yeah. So,
Go ahead. I was waiting on it. I was waiting to see what you'd say.
Oh, well, John Gerard he's doing what he needs to do. Get out front early and try to check out. But Craig DeLong is still there trying to enter that second spot right behind the motocross rider, Ben Nelco.
So you're familiar with Johnny G, right?
Oh, yeah. I grew up always with J-Day and Netras. I'm basically like Ben's best friends ever since I was 5, I think.
Really?
That's where I met him. So.
And he's pretty fast up there in New England, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure on my Instagram pictures, one of my, I think the 5th or the 6th, it's me and Johnny in 2014. So we have good memories, longtime friends, you know?
That's awesome, man. Good to see that you guys coming out of the same area. You got some, and he's got a friend in the booth here to talk good things about him here, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
The New England Rippas run deep.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
They stick together.
That's for sure.
They got each other's back, no doubt about that.
Where is Mike Wachowski out on this? That's a guy we were talking about.
He went by, I think, 4th.
Okay, so he's one of those guys Rodney and I were talking about before the show that kind of seems to fly under the radar, but is always there coming the end of 5th place right now in class?
Yeah, 5th place in the XC250 Pro class right now. Thorne Devlin, you know, I got to be surprised. I'm going to tell you, I'm surprised by Thorne. Now, he's running very well here in this second lap now as he's running, I think, in a top 4 or 5 position, maybe falling behind Wachowski at this point, but nonetheless, Thorne Devlin oftentimes is a contender for that whole shot. And he was right there again within inches. Within inches, and Devlin just came up a little bit short on that one, I believe. But a good start for him on that Beta machine, and Thorne is, got a good ride started here today. We'll see if he's been able to pull that together after 3 hours of racing. That's the big thing, though, here today. Good starts are one thing, but big finishes is what we're looking for.
Exactly right. Another guy out of the XC2 that actually got the whole shot, Jesse Ansley. I think that was the start he's been looking for. Has not been able to put together that complete race in the XC2, but right now he's back in what I believe 8th.
8th place position right now. So even the start, and if you watch that start, I mean, a lot of guys put a lot of, I think, weight on crossing that whole shot right first. The whole shot strike first, I don't think is necessary. I mean, you get some recognition and stuff, but what you want is to lead coming out of the second turn.
Bingo.
So it doesn't matter if you're 3rd or 4th going across that stripe. Yeah. What you want is to be out front coming out of the inside of that second turn.
And that is exactly what Josh is doing right now.
Bingo, nailed it.
Oh, yeah. I'm learning from you, huh?
You're doing great, brother.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. No one in sight. No one on his 6 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, whenever they came through at the finish line at the end of lap number 1, and I don't think there's going to be any true indication. We'll be keeping an eye out there watching whether or not Caleb Russell's able to bridge that gap. But there were 32 seconds between 1st and 2nd place, and that was at the end of lap number 1. We were close to halfway through the second lap of racing before Caleb ever got around Dante Oliveira.
Caleb on screen right now.
And there's Caleb on screen right now. So I think that gap may be widening, have widened just a little bit over the rest of the field. Because if you remember, we were watching Toth in the woods, man. I mean, that guy is riding through the woods and through the trees like he's riding on a moto track, just hitting berm after berm and line after line. And I heard you talking about those powder berms and stuff out there. Somehow or another, he's figured out how to hit those at the right edge without going into them too deep, and able to utilize them and work them to his advantage, it looks like.
Well, I'm not going to lie. New England is most likely this type of terrain, so Josh, Ben, and Johnny, I just grew up next to them, and this is basically a J Day, really. It's always like this, the second moto, and I think they're just used to it, really. I know Ben's done some J Days, and Johnny's always been there, 5-time champ at J Day.
Wow.
So I think they know what to do, really.
Yeah, well, especially if they're used to these kind of conditions, you know, traditionally, and I've heard you mention it earlier today, Mikey, we're not or traditionally we don't run the middle of July.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, I mean, the temperatures, I know they were forecasted to be in the low 80s.
Yeah.
I think we reached a little above that at certain points throughout the day. But, I mean, honestly, it's not that bad of a day as compared to yesterday. There's a lot more humidity in there. It's a little windier and breezier today. There is some chance of showers coming in, so you can feel those fronts coming through. So that's kind of helping keep the temperature down a little bit more today than yesterday. But so far, it's not helping in the dusty conditions.
No, and that's just an added element to a 3-hour GNCC is, you know, these guys, you got to be able to, talking to guys that were running the AM race, and they were saying, I said, what's the vision like out there? And he's like, there is none. There's none. You grab a fistful of throttle and you hope. Ashburn on screen.
Yeah, there's Jordan Ashburn out in that, what was it, number 5 spot I think he's running in, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
Grant Baylor behind him.
6th, but there was a change for 4th. Josh Strain got by Ben Kelly. So Ben Kelly was fixing I think lowering his lever or something. Probably went down. But he's back up and he's going.
So trying to readjust the lever, get himself back in sorts, so to speak. And there is Zach Osborne making his way by.
No, that's Corey Buttrick.
Oh,
is that Buttrick? Yeah, it's Buttrick. Chest protector.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry about that. Thanks for trying, though, Adam. Appreciate it. It's hard to tell, I know. See, Zach was one. What
Look at Johnny Gerard. He's
up in there with the XC1 guys right now.
Johnny, he's just riding his own pace like nothing. Oh, look, the Husqvarna guys are cheering him on, too. That's what I call sportsmanship right there. And there is the motocross rider.
Yep, there is Ben Nelko still in that number 2 position. Now the big question is, where is the 942
right
of Craig
there.
DeLong? Is that him right there already?
342 right there, already on him. So
really
Craig DeLong not taking long to make some moves.
No, he's really closed that gap up quite a bit here in the last half a lap or so. There's Wachowski checking in now, back in that 4th place position of XC2 class racing.
Mike looks comfortable on that bike too. I think Mike, I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but I'm pretty sure.
Indiana, man. He's an Indiana guy like me.
Oh, well.
Us Hoosiers stick together.
Like you New England.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. The more you know, huh?
There you go.
Well, I'm pretty sure there, too, is like this. Sandy, some spots. And Indiana.
We got what you call brownie batter mud up there. That's God's country.
There is 116. That's
there
Zach Osborne there on the Rockstar Huskies. 10th place in class.
He looks like he's having some fun.
Yeah, well, that's what he came out here for.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, he just come off of a Supercross win. He says, "Hey, I want to go GNCC racing." So they send him out some things to give him a chance to practice a couple weeks before he goes out. They say, "We got a motorcycle here for you." And, of course, Trevor Bollinger, he's using his bike. And, of course, we did get a chance to catch up with Zach Osborne, which we'll check in with that in a little bit. But it's really an honor to see the names that are coming out here with us. We talked about them just prior to the start. Dante and Mateo Oliveira. I was calling Matteo, and his mom comes up and says, it's Mateo. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And on all seriousness, that's the kind of things that we do as announcers appreciate. So thank you, Mom,
for sure,
coming up and letting us know that. But, JT Baker, he's racing out there. And there is our leader again. Put a clock on this, somebody. That is, again, Josh Toth leading the rest of the field. But JT Baker's out there from the Factory One Sherco team, racing the XC2 class. He's a Work Series racer, and he's also a Pro 2 class rider out there. And he competed in the ISDE on a club team for a few years in a row now. So, he's kind of maybe raced in some situations like this. So we'll see how things work out for him here today. Haven't really seen a whole lot out of him. I mentioned also Phoenix Honda Racing. Kyle Peters out there racing the XC2 class. He finished 8th in the 250 East Coast Supercross Series, also winning the Arena Cross Series.
So Caleb Russell back on screen now. We got the clock on it, so we'll find out exactly how far apart these guys are. Let's see if me and Adam match.
37
All right, I had
seconds.
35. Okay,
So Josh Toth has gained at least 5 seconds. And here's the thing. Now, did he gain more than that? And Caleb maybe closed up some of that gap. But 37 seconds. But look at this. Here comes Josh Strang. Strang seems to be not far off the pace of Caleb. You can't quite see him at the moment, but I think he can see his trails of dust. So that's still some, I think, some incentive there for the 114 machine.
The 114 machine is now in third. He got by Oliveira right now. Ben Kelly, having a good ride right now.
Very good point. They're seeing
Jordan Ashburn.
Oliveira dropping. So we got Oliveira back to fourth now, or
correct? Yeah.
Because Strang has gotten around Kelly and Oliveira because Strang was in the number 5 spot, so he's up to the number 3 positions. And man, Josh Strang's kind of on the move here today as well. Wow, look at that hair. You look like Kramer, man.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, I did. This was years ago. Jason Wygant joining us in studio now, fresh off the track as he raced this morning's race, and we're watching our leader, the 2:06 of Josh Toth, winding his way in for the conclusion of lap number 2 now. And we'll get the official time on this. It was 37 seconds, just a mile or so back, that we see that Josh Toth had over the rest of the field, including your 7-time and defending GNCC champion Caleb Russell. Again, Russell going for win number 67 here today, or will Josh Toth grab win number 1? Well, we see it's going to be a historic value, I think, today, no matter what. As the pit boards are out and showed the Toth, I think they're giving him the idea that, hey, dude, you got this one. Don't throw it away and just keep doing the thing that you're doing. It's Caleb Russell looking over his shoulder there as he goes to the final chicanes. He checks in 37.6 seconds behind Josh Toth, so no ground lost, no ground gained in the last mile or so of racing. Here comes our third place position rider. Now we're going to get a look at some lap times, and this is going to give us a chance, I think, to really start comparing as to who's making moves and who's really moving out there on the racetrack right now. As we take a look at this third place checking in, Josh Strang, 19.9, call it 20 seconds behind Caleb Russell at this point. Okay, here it is, 24.32 for Josh Toth, 24.31 for Caleb Russell, 24.36 for Josh Strang. So really, Caleb Russell only besting Josh Toth's lap time by 1 second, actually less than a second or so. Maybe a second and a half, but right in that range anyway, so right at a second. So Josh Toth and Caleb Russell nearly the same lap time, and about 5 seconds off their pace is Josh Strang, so he loses a little bit more time, back to 20 seconds, but now things are a little different on this lap. Josh did have a couple of riders to contend with. He made those 2 passes and still was able to come within 5 seconds of Caleb Russell's lap time. So in my opinion, I think that that's saying a lot, and I think we got a lot more to see out of Josh Strang as the freight train gets up steam here today. And we welcome the Weeds, Jason Wygant, here to the booth with us today. Voice of RacerTV, GNCC Racing for so long. Jason, welcome out, buddy.
Yeah, this is awesome. Really glad to be here. I did the full family thing. Kids raced, P-Dub, Stasics. I raced this morning. And then to add the excitement that Zach Osborne decided to show up as well. So what a way to send off into the summer break, man. What a good race.
Right, he heard you were coming.
Yes, and he was aiming for me.
He didn't realize you weren't running XC1 today, though.
Yeah, exactly. He should have raced in the morning. He probably would have done better than me. But I talked to Zach a lot, and it was kind of funny. Like, I knew he was going to do it. He knew I knew, but he couldn't say, and I couldn't say. As we watched Caleb Russell here up the FMF PowerPoint pulling away. Anyway, long story short, bench racing with Zach all week. He's like, Weech, how do you think I'll do? And I'm like, what is your goal? And, he said he would love to finish on the podium, but he said the key is I have to start with those guys.
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
He didn't.
He did not.
No, he didn't.
No.
And that's the exact same thing that he told me yesterday. He said, it's going to require, he says, I think I can finish strong and finish well. I've just got to get a start. And, you would think that, it's a 3-hour race. You got plenty of time to make it up.
I know.
But what we also got to take into account, the level of these guys are racing. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that statement would have been held true, that it's a 3-hour race. Right. It doesn't matter what the start's like. It amazes me how critical a good start is now in GNCC.
Well, I think he knew, obviously he's in shape and he can go fast, but to key off these guys in the woods, especially the way it worked on this track, and I talked to Jeff Russell yesterday, and he said the way this track happens to be laid out, you go up that hill off the start, and it's into tight stuff immediately, and that's obviously not going to be Osborne's specialty. So I think Zacho knew, as we see him coming through here, he needed to key off those guys and be with them in the tight stuff to see how they do it. And if he did not get the chance to see them, that was going to make his life a lot more difficult. You see him coming through now. Obviously, he knows how to ride a motorcycle, but to see how these guys react to things in the woods would have been very helpful. He knew he needed to do it. He didn't get that chance today. Meanwhile, Caleb Russell putting the hammer down. By the way, I'm pumped, though, for there's Zacho going by the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rig, but they put in a lot of effort. I saw old Scuba Steve, who is really the team manager now for the motocross side. He's here as well. He's one of the all-time geniuses as far as setting up a motorcycle, a great mechanic in his day, then a crew chief. So not just Zach, but some of the key players from the motocross team are here as well. So it's just awesome for GNCC overall.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me that we're starting to see some crossover with this little bit of time left open with the, obviously, the motocross taking a little bit of a break. So hopefully, if that trend continues in the fall, we'll see more of the guys back out with us then.
Oh, we're going to crash.
Oh, mercy.
Speaking of break, we got to take one.
Yeah, that's it.
Ben.
That's it. Josh
Ben
Toth.
Nelko.
Oh,
Nelko, yeah.
That's second place there in the XC2. But Josh Toth continues to lead Caleb Russell. Josh Strang back in the number 3 spot. Stick around, folks. We'll see how this story all unfolds. There's still plenty to write here today at the Lilly Family Farm.
It's hard to put our adventures on hold, but now is the perfect time to prepare for their return. AMSOIL has your back with fast, free shipping, and ordering has never been easier. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $50 on AMSOIL products, and shipping is on us. Order now at AMSOIL.com.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lieb, the director of On Track School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
My name's Andrew Bauer. I'm originally from Minnesota, but I live in California. In Southern California, I've been at Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Racing for a little over a year and a half now. So I grew up racing motocross. I didn't really start racing until teenager years because I didn't want to get hurt playing baseball, so I stayed out of it for a while. I've been around it since I was a little kid because of my father. Growing up, I did do some amateur nationals. I was fortunate enough to actually be at one where I got to see Zach race an amateur national along with some other factory guys. But I mean, I raced, I got to a certain level. Actually, my first pro rider was Alex Martin, who I actually raced against him and Ryan Dungey in Minnesota. I mean, granted, they both really beat me badly, but I grew up with some of these guys. So like, I've met Zach before and I've knew him beforehand a little bit, but it's nice to see where some of these guys have progressed to that I've been able to watch growing up racing, not alongside, but at the same races as them. So basically, we got a phone call. I got a phone call from Timmy that Zach was going to fill in on Trevor's bike for this round of GNCCs. So we quick made a scramble between the whole shop, the entire team. We all got together. We boxed a bunch of stuff up, sent him out a rear wheel, the oversized tank, our triple clamps, some different foot pegs, stuff for Zach to build his practice bike up to get ready for this race. So he's actually been riding a very similar setup to what we have here on Trevor's bike. He's actually running the exact same suspension setup as Trevor for this. Just a few minor clicker adjustments here and there. But for the most part, this is the Trevor setup, but Zach is going to race on it. You know, GNCCs, we don't really prepare anything specific for rain for the most part. We will do some filter adjustments depending on if it's wet, if it's a little bit wet, if it's muddy, if it's dry. We do some filter changes that way, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. We stay to a consistent build, so when these riders go home and ride their practice bikes, it's the same build as when they get to the racetrack.
And welcome back to GNCC Live on RacerTV.com. Rodney Tomlin along with Jason Wygant, the Weege, if you will. Also Ryan Amancio, and out and about now on patrol is Mikey Waynes as we pick the action back up here at the Lilly Family Farm. The high voltage GNCC, and Jason Wygant, fresh off the track himself, racing this morning. Out here with all the big names that's coming. Man, we got folks from out west, a lot of Work Series racers, and just like I was pointing out there a few moments ago, I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't a bit surprised to see Dante Oliveira up front. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't hung up front tighter with your leader, Josh Totha, to be honest with you.
There we go. Ryan knows the drill. Even where I was pitted today from the youth race, got a kid out of Colorado, finished third today. They actually drive back and forth Colorado to all these GNCCs because they know this is where the competition is. So yeah, we're seeing it. It's not just a Zach Osborne thing. We're seeing it from all angles with West Coast riders taking a shot at it as well. And let's be honest, a lot of it is, as you alluded to before the break, there's just not as much racing going on as there would be in a normal year. So kind of GNCC is, for some people, the only game in town. Good way to keep the skills sharp. I did get to ride the track this morning. You know, it looks dusty, obviously, when you see it on camera, but I had never ridden one of these when it was really dusty. It wasn't really a big thing. I don't think it was nearly as bad as it looks when you watch it on camera. There were maybe 2 or 3 times you'll be in a field section where you had to slow down and wait. But in the woods, it was silty, but you could see what was going on.
Right, and I think the start might have been I mean, you had all those bikes at one time on the start.
It makes it look terrible.
It does make it look
most of the race is not like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The rest of the track's a little different. I mean, there's a haze in the air and stuff, but I mean, like you said, you can see out there, and the camera kind of discombobulates a little bit what true vision is like out there, I believe.
I think the bigger factor with it being so dry, and I'm shocked it's this dry because Friday we had just unbelievable rain come through, and I was really expecting yesterday to be muddy. I cannot believe our afternoon ATV race, it had gotten dusty by then.
Well, it didn't rain here until about 7 o'clock on Friday night.
So it held off.
It held off.
My whole drive up, it got bad. I got here about 6, and it was coming down. But it had not rained before that.
It rained in Morgantown more than it rained here.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So I think what a bigger factor is than the dust is just every corner, and you can even see it here, has like this silty berm.
Yep.
See Caleb not even going out there.
Yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with it.
No. So that's what the guys got to contend with, those silt berms. Oh, well, I don't know if we saw Toth go by, so we think this could be Caleb Russell now to the #1 spot.
Well, Russell keeps looking behind his shoulder right now. Ryan says the Toth did go by, so...
we're going to ignore the producers here.
Right, so...
Ryan knows.
Here's the thing. I mean, 40 seconds, it's a likelihood that he has gone by, to be honest with you, at this particular point. To lose 40 seconds like that, it would be kind of tough. But at the level John